The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Hello, here I am. Welcome to the show. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. New week of podding, starting right now. Joining me, Brian and Noah. No one's in studio with me. No, wait, Noah's not. No one's in studio with me. Noah is on Zoom with me, or whatever program we use. How's it going, guys?
Good. I've been walking around town going, can you believe that Nikki won 2 Emmys? It's incredible that she won those, and that speech was amazing, and it's just amazing.
It was a really good speech.
Yeah, solid.
2? Like, you mean we won for editing and for...
Yeah, you won for editing.
Yeah.
I hope, let's just say this, I don't mean to...
Because we're nominated. We also were nominated. Not only did we win for best special pre-recorded, but we won for editing as well. Or we were nominated and won for editing.
Yes, that's right. The editing was good. Is Guy Harding the editor?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He's amazing. Nice. I love him so much. He edited Era's tour.
Whoa. That's pretty cool.
I know. It was awesome.
I mean, that lineup was stacked. You had the Oscars lighting, you had the director of the Super Bowl, and you had the editor.
The guy that lit. We were watching the documentary "We Are the World," like how that got made, that song, you know.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And Bob Richardson, who did my lighting for my special "Someday You'll Die," was in that documentary. Lit the "We Are the World" music video.
Wow.
He was the one that
incredible.
was like setting up the lights when Michael Jackson was like practicing alone before everyone got there. And he's like in the documentary, we were watching it, we go, oh my God, that's Bob. Like it's incredible. And Bob told me I had really good skin that day. That really made me feel good. And he was like, you have really good. He was like, I'm not just saying this, you have great skin. And I was like, no one's ever, you know, when like you just don't get a type of compliment that you hear other people get. Like I've said before in the show that no one's ever told me I smell good, and that stands to be true. And people have said it since just to like say it because they know I've never heard it, but I've never sincerely gotten it. My mom, I think, said it last week, but she goes, "That's your shampoo, right?" Like she, like it's never just like what my body smells like. But no one's ever been like, "You have great skin." It's never been like something that someone has said to me apropos of nothing. It's always been like, you have good skin too, after I've complimented theirs. You know what I mean?
Oh, God. What do you think about that? So sometimes I'll compliment somebody or someone will compliment me, and then I feel compelled to say something nice back to them. And then this new thing's happening, I think, post-internet, where people go, don't just compliment me back. Just accept my compliment.
I'm so sick of people getting mad at you when they compliment you and you say, that's so nice. And they go, it's not nice. It's true. They get like mad at you.
God,
they go, I'm not being nice. It's just like, well, now you're not. God, sorry. I don't know what to say. If you reject a compliment, you are in the wrong because you can't accept things. And if you say thank you, they go, no, I'm serious. And you go, I don't know how to make you shut up. I'm uncomfortable with this. I'm accepting it. And then if you go, that's so nice, they go, I'm not being nice. And it's like, but I've said this before. It's nice to say it. You didn't have to say it. And that is nice.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're not lying. I'm not accusing you of lying.
They want to extra prove that what they said was sincere.
I get it. I've done it before too. You know,
so how do you do it? How do you accept a compliment?
You just say, thank you. That means so much to me.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's what I've been trying.
Well, we have my famous How to Talk to Anyone 92 Little Secrets for Big Success, where they
did you write this or did you?
No, this is that book that I read that taught me how to accept a compliment.
Oh yeah, okay.
And the answer was you compliment them for complimenting you, which really works.
Right.
But I did a new thing. So that the compliment.
I remember that was from a while ago.
Yes, if you say, "Oh, that's such a nice shirt, Brian," and then I would say, "Well, thank you. This is my favorite shirt." Then it makes them feel so smart.
Oh, yes, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I usually say like the other day, Christina Hutchinson, who's a comedian, posted about my special on her story, and I wrote to her like, thank you, oh my God, this is so nice. And she was like, she wrote this whole really nice thing about it that really like hit me, you know, like it was just like she had watched it and like really you could tell it affected her, and And I just knew the kind of compliment she was giving me is the kind that I give when I really mean it. And I was just like, I wanted her to feel as good as it made me feel. So I was just like, and it did make me feel good because I think she's really funny and really smart and savvy. And I just respect her opinion. And I got to say, sometimes I respect some compliments mean more from some people. Christina Hutchinson, she's cool to me. So her compliment meant more. And I just said, this means so much from you. You made my day. I often say you made my day, you made my week, you made my month based on how much it means. But yeah, like if it's a really good, oh my God, do you want to hear something crazy? This might have made my 6 months. What is half of a year?
That's pretty high.
Okay, this is up there with being cultural, moments where I'm like, oh my God, I'm culturally relevant in a way I didn't know.
Yeah.
Up there with being a New York Times crossword clue. This is up there with that moment for me. Okay, which happened May 21st, 2023. But this happened yesterday. Seth Herzog, who works on The Tonight Show doing warm up, he texted me and said, Catherine O'Hara just name checked you in her interview.
Whoa.
And first of all, Catherine O'Hara, if you don't know, Best in Show, Schitt's Creek, Mom in Home Alone, one of the best comedic actresses of all time.
Beetlejuice.
I don't know this woman at all. Never met her, never DM'd with her. I've never even done a shout out and she's liked it. Or, you know what I mean? There's been no crossover between us. And I'm like, and he thinks Seth is just like, oh, you guys must be friends or something. Because apparently, what did he say? It's airing on Wednesday. So it's airing tonight, you guys, if you're listening to this on Wednesday. Yes. But he said that
what's the program?
The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy tells this whole story about getting his sweater attached to Taylor before a show of hers. Oh, he accidentally I don't know, that I guess his sweater got snaggled on her. And Catherine O'Hara says that's Nikki Glaser's dream.
Wow,
so she
you're in the
must have just
zeitgeist.
seen a TikTok or an Instagram or something.
Yeah.
But that to me was because Seth goes, you guys are friends? And I go, I've never even, that's how you prove that you don't know someone. I go, we've never even DM'd. Not only are we not friends, because that's where you can be we're friends, but DM friends or whatever. That made me feel so good. And I'm sure Jimmy doesn't even know that I'm obsessed with Taylor Swift in that way. He was probably like, what? What's she talking about? But that was really cool to me and made me feel like, oh, Catherine O'Hara on her own referenced me in an interview with Jimmy Fallon. Again, apropos of nothing. I just thought that was
because you're a thing now. You're a concept. You are a figure in society.
Yes. I guess so. I mean,
you're referenceable. That's crazy.
At least for this year, I am referenceable. It will.
Let it in, Nikki.
You're like Bill Clinton.
Letting it in. Yeah. Well, it can come and go because the Huck Tua girl is not going to be. We might know her name now. Cassie, I think it is. Kaylee.
Haley Welch. Haley Welch. Yeah.
Will you know her? Will she have name recognition? You might know her name now. All of you might. But will she have name recognition in a year? You might forget that name. I think we think once we know a name, we'll always remember it. And that's just not the case. I knew, Devon Sawa isn't rolling off the tongue for me anymore like it was in 1994 or
Casey
5.
Anthony, though, on the other hand.
Yeah. Well, Lacey Peterson, Scott Peterson.
Yeah.
Gonna get into that. Watch that documentary on Netflix, which I really recommend. But yeah, I'm part of the zeitgeist, and and I'm saying that I was just trying to be funny when I said that. But it probably made my 6 months because that's a really funny, interesting. I don't know. It's such a little thing, but it was just so funny to me. And then
it'd be funny if someone complimented you and you were like, "That made my minute."
Yeah,
it's very low level.
Yeah,
I feel okay.
And sometimes they do. You know what makes my minute when people say your dog is cute? That doesn't even make my minute. That actually took away from my life because honestly, I know she's cute. Here's my new. Okay, I'm gonna sound like a real bitch. Get ready to not like me, everyone. If a girl has her headphones in, don't tell her her dog is cute. She doesn't care. She already knows. That's why she has it. Even if it wasn't cute, she would love it and think it's cute because everyone thinks their own dog is cute. So you validating that I already think my dog is cute is not what I need to hear. And if I have my headphones in, I probably can't hear you, especially if they're AirPods Pro because they block out all the noise. I can't hear fucking shit. I can't hear a fire engine. I can't hear my car alarm going off right outside the Starbucks that I left my dog in because my dog moved a little bit. And so the car is honking for about 3 minutes while I wait for my Starbucks. I'm inside the Starbucks. Everyone in the Starbucks is like, where is this alarm? When is it going to go off? I can't even hear it because my headphones are in. That's how much I cannot hear you. So when you talk to me, it's going to seem like I'm rude. Anyone from my apartment building who is listening to this and thinks that I am rude to them, I have never ignored you. I've always just had my AirPods in and I didn't hear you unless I kind of see your mouth move or your jaw move out of the corner of my eye. Then I take it out and go, huh? And then you go, I didn't say anything. But most of the time you're saying my dog is cute and I know she's cute.
Yeah.
Stop talking to women with AirPods in.
Is that the song you're listening to when you're walking your dog?
I gotta get it auto-tuned, but yeah, that would be a hit.
Sounds like a musical.
I
want to see that on Broadway.
Stand people talking to you when you have AirPods in.
Yeah.
And I know you're like, well, I can't see. Yes, you can. They're little white things. When I have when I stuff toilet paper in my ear, like inside my ear, people can see it. And they're like, why do you have that in your ear? Because I'm like, it's too loud in this restaurant. So I know you can see my big ass AirPods hanging out. Mm-hmm. Don't talk to me. And especially stop trying to flirt with me. Like I've been getting flirted with. And I know I've complained before that I never get flirted with, but I don't like it. It started and I don't know why. I left the house yesterday to go get, or 2 days ago on Sunday to get Starbucks. It took for fucking ever. I was waiting in line. It's not in line, but like waiting for my mobile order. And I was very patiently waiting. And this guy came up to me and started talking to me about how my dog was cute.
Yep.
And he literally asked me, do I come here often? I almost laughed when he said that. Then we were talking about what he does for a living. Then he asked what I do for a living. I said, I'm a comedian. He said, do you perform around here? I said, no. He goes, do you perform when you lived in LA? Because we were talking about LA. And I said, yes. And I just cut to the chase and I go, I'm famous. I was just, I know that sounds crazy, but do you know what the conversation is like if I don't just cut to the chase? If I say I'm a comedian, they go, do you perform around here? Well, no, not really, because I live here. I usually perform. I travel on the weekends to perform. Oh, have you ever performed at the Comedy Store? Yep. Have you ever I think there's a one down in in San Diego. Yep, I performed there too. Now, well, who do you ever think about maybe being on TV? Yeah, I think I've been on TV before. Really? What have you done? And it's just like I'm famous. I swear to God, it's more like me being like, you're gonna find out on your own, and it's like me kind of being like, I'm a little teaser, and I can't wait till you find out. It's more annoying and revolting to like string people along than to just be like, I'm famous. And I didn't say it loudly. I didn't say it braggadociously. It was just like, I don't want to tell you all the venues I performed at, sir. And so he goes, right. Oh, really? And I go, yeah, I'm on Netflix and, Max. And
how does he not know? Especially being in St. Louis. You should have a little business card.
He was a foreign man.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Foreign men don't know shit.
No, he was like, it wasn't like, he just probably isn't really aware of American comedy at this point. But he did ask me if he was like, we should keep in touch.
Oh,
and I didn't know what to say. I just go, I have a boyfriend. And he immediately was like, got it. And was like, okay, cool. And I'm like, that is so weird that, okay, this guy starts talking to me, right? Mm-hmm. And then I say I have a boyfriend and it's completely, the conversation's over, which I wanted it to be, by the way. Like, It was clear that's what he wanted to get at. It's so weird that man, the only reason he chatted me up was to put his penis inside me. Like, that was the end game. Like, this is why sex is so fascinating to me, is like all this bullshit that comes between us and like me slobbing his knob. Like, that is what he wanted as we're standing there. And because I said I had a boyfriend, that completely called out exactly what it was. I'm already slobbing this man's knob. I can't slob yours. Like, because we could still hang out. I'm allowed to. He said, let's just keep in touch. I'm allowed to keep in touch with men that I have a boyfriend. But because I said I have a boyfriend, we both knew we can never have sex. You can't have sex with me. And that is so weird to me that is constantly like, he
was basically like, oh, well, I was trying to fuck you this whole time.
Yeah.
I guess I should leave because I don't want anything else from you. I don't want to talk
That's
about
what
comedy.
every girl has to do when she says, I have a boyfriend. That's what she's saying is that you can't put your penis in me. And it's so interesting if we could just cut to that. If a guy would just go up and say, hey, can I put my penis in you? And you go, no, I have a boyfriend. Then we wouldn't have any of this other stuff because all of that stuff was just to get to the penis in me.
A little song and dance. Old dog and pony
But do you guys agree? Like, are people trying to talk to you when you have headphones in? Because I know it is antisocial to have headphones in, and it is by design. I don't want to socialize.
Well,
I'm not someone who likes
of...
to talk to people about my dog being cute or their dog being cute. We both got dogs. Let's let them sniff each other, and we don't need to talk about it.
I have an interesting situation that is not headphones related, but it is dog related. And this is from the male standpoint. I have a neighbor who's probably like in her late 20s or something like that, a girl. And she has a dog and I have a dog. And so very often we are outside at the same time. Right. And I make a point to not like interact with this person. Because I don't want her to think that I'm one of these guys that's like, ooh, let's let our dogs meet. Yeah, and then, oh, isn't this cute that we're our dogs? Hey, do you like comedy? Have you performed the Comedy Store? And the problem is, my dog, Jack, is obsessed with this dog.
Yeah,
if this dog is a mile away, he will start yipping. Like, I've never heard these noises come out. Like, they come out of like the center of his soul. And I'm like, and I just want to go up to the girl and say, listen, I don't want to have sex with you. Can you just let my dog hang out with your dog for 5 seconds? I can't do it.
To be like, I wish we could be that honest with each other of like, I'm not but we can't say that either, even though it's the opposite of what everyone's scared of. It is literally the thing that would like make everyone feel not that any guy saying I don't want to fuck you means he actually doesn't, but it would make life a little bit easier to navigate if you just knew it was a thing or not. Like the second I drop boyfriend, things can change in a conversation with a guy, or the second they drop girlfriend,
it starts raining.
But I know what you mean. There's sometimes my dog wants to socialize and I just don't want to. But I really like people that just let your dog sniff their dog and we don't talk. Our dogs just talk. And we just kind of go, okay. And then we talk through our dogs. Oh, he likes you. Like, all right, we gotta go.
I like the silence. I like, oh, hi. And then you just let the dogs talk and then go, see ya. That's the dream.
Yeah. I want to be clear. I'm not like completely antisocial. I do like saying hi and nodding at people. And like, I'll say like anyone who's like working in my building, I will take out my headphones. And if they want to talk to me, yes. But other people who live in my building.
I have a question about the guy.
No. What?
If the conversation ended like him, you said you're famous and he goes, oh, that's so great. I'm going to check out your work. And then he goes, have a nice day. Would any of your ego like hurt a little bit? Or something if he didn't appear to be hitting on you?
No, that would have been great. I wouldn't mind that at all. Like if someone's just like chatty, because I was just sitting there and like I didn't mind chatting with him. He was talking about LA and about how St. Louis, like it was good during COVID because New York was he lived in New York. He said during COVID, St. Louis, he moved here during COVID and it was like great because we didn't care about masks and everyone was running around and it was like he was escaping New York, which felt like really lonely. But now that COVID is lifted, New York is like, he misses, now St. Louis feels really lonely because compared to New York, it is. And there's like one block that I live on that is similar to Manhattan. He's like, but this is the only part of St. Louis I found that makes me feel even similar to Manhattan. One block. Yeah. And so that was an interesting conversation, which I'm happy to have. But I just like
was he attractive?
No.
Yeah.
Not
that's
to me.
The problem. You gotta be at least a hot guy.
No, I used to take offense when guys that weren't hot would hit on me and be like, God, is this?
he thinks that he has a chance with you?
It can be offensive.
Yeah.
Especially when hot guys aren't hitting on you. But then it's just like, it's still offensive when I kind of run it through. It's still like, shouldn't you think I'm out of your league? But I'm not. Like, I know the way I dress. I came back home and to see Chris and I go, it just do I look provocative? Because I just got hit on twice. And he was like, yeah, you kind of look sporty and fun. And so I guess he was kind of like, yeah. And I'm like, do you even want to stick your dick in me. He's like, not right now. All right, we got to go to break. We'll be right back after this. We're back. So I watched this.
Oh, sorry.
What?
I was going to ask
No.
you about this New York Times piece. Was it New York Times?
LA Times?
LA Times? They did a profile on you.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I didn't read it because I don't read
okay.
anything that is written about me, whether it be good or bad.
The title of it was pretty cool.
I read the title and that was nice. Why Nikki Glaser is the
biggest comedian right now or something like that.
Yeah.
Did they say why? I didn't see the whole
Did they
article
answer
yet.
the question? I don't know. I asked the same question. I go, why? What is happening right now? It was really nice. I didn't even I do so many interviews that I don't remember which are which. Some I remember. That one I do remember because it was a really good conversation. But it was I didn't know that was going to be the headline. And of course my PR people sent an email being like, look at this headline we got. Like, they're not pushing for it. Like, you just don't really know what's going to happen. That's why there's so many times, you know, interviews go wrong because they come out and it's like a hit piece and you had the person would never agree to a hit piece. It just comes out like they don't look good. So, that was really nice. And, you know, it's just, whenever you're the it girl, it's not gonna last long. Look at Miss Blake Lively. Like, you're gonna get taken down at some point. Like, people are gonna come for your throat and people are gonna start going, truly, why? But right now I'm on the rise. It feels good. I'm gonna accept it. I'm gonna enjoy the ride, but the roller coaster is going to go down again and it's gonna go up again. And like, even Blake Lively, like, for a second, I don't know if you've been following all the stuff that's been going on with her, but there's like a backlash for her. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to give my opinion on it, except for the fact that, you know, no matter how you feel about it, whether you're Team Blake or you're anti-Blake, don't worry about Miss Blake, okay? Because whenever a celebrity as big as she is and who's been around for as long as she is, it's time. They decided it was time to take her down, so she's getting taken down. Everyone's going to turn on her, and then guess what's going to happen? What always happens when someone has a backlash that does not involve sexual assault, that does not involve, and even when it involves sexual assault, let me just say there's a little bit of a comeback that you can enjoy. I think even Kevin Spacey had like a comeback, but there is a backlash to the backlash is coming. Blake will be just fine. She might have to go away for a year. So be it. That's fine. A year, maybe 2. But then what are we going to see? We're going to see her on the cover of something with her arm like this, kind of hidden behind her arm. And she's going to look stunning. And it's going to be like, she's ready to emerge. And it'll say the sub headline, she went away for 2 years. But now, is she ready to are we ready for her to come back? And the answer will be yes, because we love redemption. So I was starting to feel bad for Blake Lively because I know that everyone's like, she should feel bad. She did this and that. She doesn't, she did not do those things knowing that she loves her career, and now everyone is piling on her. It's got to feel awful that everyone's turning on her and she can't kind of catch any break from any angle. Yeah. No matter what side you're on, you got to admit that she didn't kill anyone, guys. She didn't really hurt anyone. I think the biggest indictment against her is that she might be a mean girl. Like, unless she's like bullied someone to death, like it's not really punishable, but like she shouldn't lose everything. Am I annoyed at people wanting to be billionaires? You know I am. Do I want people to just back off and stick to what they do? Surely I do. Do I not like girls who seem kind of mean? Yeah, I don't like it either. Have I seemed kind of mean before? I'm sure in different contexts. I don't know what's going on with her. What I do know, she's gonna be just fine. She's gonna be fine. We're all gonna play this video. Let's clip this right now for when 2 years from now. I'm talking November 2026.
Yep.
Blake Lively will be on the cover of things, and there will be she will be kind of hidden behind it, emerging from her arms, wrapped up in her arms, kind of Tortured Poets style, the cover of Tortured Poets. And her eye will be peeking out from her elbow. And it'll be like an eye that's kind of sorry, but like, I'm ready. And everyone will fucking jerk themselves off over it because we love to welcome someone back in and to forgive someone. And I think that's a beautiful thing. But I think she'll be okay, but I
feels
do have
almost as
empathy
good to
for her
bring
right now.
back an outcast as it does to destroy someone on top.
I almost like in the same way that I can't enjoy being on the top because I just know I'm gonna feel down again. I don't even I used to enjoy when stars would get taken down. Like, yeah, she's so pretty and perfect. Fuck her. I can't wait for her to get dismantled. Like the way I felt about, I used to feel about J-Lo. Like, yeah, the tides are turning, J-Lo. No one likes you anymore. Blake Lively, sorry. You've been a perfect gossip girl your whole life. Now you're a mean girl. We all know it. I can't even bask in the enjoyment of it because I see 2 years from now when I'm jealous of her again because she's the it girl. Like, don't worry, guys. It all comes around. It's cyclical.
Well, you know who's been
the world
piled on and it seems like it's never let up is Ellen. I feel like, is Ellen
Are you kidding me?
Ellen's
get
making
ready.
a comeback?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
happening?
Her new special's coming out.
Oh,
I think this
right.
month, and the press is
There's
already
a comeback
starting.
tour.
Yeah, and she addresses not being nice.
Cosby never made a comeback.
Did you hear
Oh.
Neil Brennan's thing about? Yeah, but that's what I said. Sexual assault.
Right.
you
Okay.
can't come
Okay.
back
I got to
from.
think of an example of a non-sexual
Yeah.
assault person who never made a
Yeah.
comeback. That's
Who
tough.
hasn't come, it has
names
to be
are coming
it
into
has
my
to be
head.
5 years out because it takes about sometimes 5 years for someone to
Upwards
have
of
a
5.
comeback.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of names going in my head right now, and I'm like, oh wait, that was a sexual assault. person.
Sexual assault, yes.
Yeah.
But
I'll think
what
of
I
it.
wanted to
Give me
say
the
about
end of the
Ellen,
episode.
Neil Brennan had a joke in his special, and he goes, people like hold comedians to these standards. He's like, people are like, he was talking about his contractor came over. He had hired this guy off Craigslist to do some work around his house, and the guy was like, saw that he was famous or whatever because Neil told him, and I'm making a joke referencing what I just said in case this clip is pulled out of context.
Yes.
And Neil probably let him know anyway because he's got Emmys lying around as doorstops. But he, the contractor was like, "Hey, is Kevin Hart? You friends with Kevin Hart?" And he goes, "Yeah, I know Kev." And he goes, "Is he humble?" And he was like, he goes, "Jeremy, you're not humble, and you're a fucking handyman on Craigslist." He's like, "Why would Kevin Hart, who's 5'1" and a billionaire, be humble?" Yeah, he's as humble as other like Tom Cruise, and he lists all these other guys. And then he goes, people are like, we like Ellen, but is she nice? And he's like, who gives a shit if she's nice? She's a trailblazer for gay rights. She was a gay woman who got canceled for being gay. Her show was off the air as soon as she admitted she was gay. She went away. She came back 5 years later and had the hit TV show. He goes, is she nice? Have you ever met a nice lesbian? He was like, they're fine, but they're not nice. They're pleasant, I guess. He makes just a good point that, like, why do we need our celebrities to be all of these things? And I think that is the articles I was reading about the Blake Lively thing. I was telling Noah and the other girls on Girls Chat because we were talking about it. Like, I like that there's this backlash to inauthenticity, which I think is what is the pile-on about Blake is like movie stars don't get to be like, I'm not going to discuss that anymore. And like, I'm, this perfection. Even Anne Hathaway, I think, has been kind of mum about some stuff that's not even that inquisitive, like of questions. And she's just like, no comment. And like stars used to be able to have this like wall up where they're like, I'm perfect and I'm not going to show you my real self, which is fine. But now people, because of TikTok and because of social media, people want their stars to be normal and relatable and authentic.
Yeah.
And when they're not, there's a backlash coming, and all these stars that came up in the early 2000s and made their mark and don't know how to live in this kind of world where they're expected to be. They can't be authentic because they're not. And I'm not speaking of Blake Lively. I'm just speaking like they are celebrities that are so detached they cannot be authentic. Whereas
Especially
people like
actors.
Chappell Roan.
I mean, actors are like, you fall in love with the character they're playing, and then you expect like,
oh, it's insane.
Why aren't you acting like Captain America? I don't understand. It's like, because I'm not.
Expect nothing of them, folks.
Yes,
Please. Chappell
because
Roan
there's
said it
nothing
best. Did you
inside.
hear what
Yes,
she
yes,
said?
yes,
Do you know
yes.
who Chappell Roan is, Brian?
Yes, I am aware.
She's the best, but she just said, it said this is the headline. Chappell Roan is turning down movie offers because, quote, actors are fucking crazy and Hollywood is so scary. I'd rather get arrested than be an actor. It's true.
Wow.
Actors are weird, dude. They are. It's like, I'm friends with actors, but am I close friends? No.
Yeah.
I'm mainly friends with comedians who have acted, but like actors that don't do something else, like it's not. I remember when I wanted to be an actress so badly because I thought it was just your ticket to being on TV and being on a TV show. I didn't realize like what it took to be an actor. It's like a lot of hard, intense work, and you have to be delusional, or you have to be kind of like a crazy person in a different way than I am crazy. But I remember I went and auditioned for theater school for an NYU audition. It wasn't like you just sign up and you get an audition. It wasn't special. I had literally no talent. I had been in like 3 plays in high school. So I flew to Chicago to audition, and I remember, it was this probably fall of my senior year, and I'm in the hallway in this hotel in Chicago, and I see all of these theater kids practicing their monologues in the hallway and like not talking to me, but like being loud and like, I'm important and I'm screaming in the corner and like but also antisocial. And I remember just thinking, this isn't it for me. Even though I did still want it, I remember thinking like, I don't know how I'm going to find friends in this kind of, the plays I did in high school they were all like football players that got talked into doing plays, or there were some actory kids, but it wasn't the bulk. Whereas when you go to theater school, it's that. And comedians are weird too. If you're an actor and you're taking offense to this, you should. I'm saying you're weird, but you're weird in a way that is fantastic because you can portray other people so well in almost a creepy way. But they are different. And I love Chappell Roan for saying like, I'm not going to fucking do anything. I'm getting all these endorsements. I'm not going to like get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to like pretend I use a product I don't. Like I love her character. I just love her. She's so real. And that's what people want. That's like that's the epitome of what people want from
everything's real now. Parasocial relationships now, because the industry has severed the ties between the Hollywood industrial complex and fame. There's no more stars. It's all about developing relationships with your fans, and they bolster you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like I get interviewed about Taylor Swift a lot, and I always kind of gloss over the fact that like I've learned to manage my career in whatever way I manage it. I wish I was a little bit more focused and intentional with the things I do, but the way I relate to my fans is the way I feel I relate to Taylor as a fan. I want my fans to feel that close to me. And because I do feel like I'm rooting for Taylor. I feel like I know her. Like I don't need to be friends with her because she's told me everything she needs to tell me in her music. And the truth is, I say I'm way more honest in my comedy than I am almost in one-on-one relationships, or at least the same. And I think that is, I feel
like you're more honest in your stand-up than in real life. I feel like
I think so too.
Something about you stepping on stage gives you carte blanche to just unload things that you probably wouldn't say in conversation.
I think so too, because I don't have to defend them. I don't have to answer to anyone going, well, that doesn't actually hold up. I think you're right, but I don't mind a parasocial relationship. I've said it before, but if you think you could be friends with me, you are right. I mean, I don't have room in my life for you, probably, just as Taylor doesn't have room in her life for me. But you're not wrong that if we met in middle school, girl or guy listening to this, and you're like, man, we would really hang out, we would have been besties. But it's just the timing and the circumstance didn't allow it. So for you in your mind to think you're my friend, go for it. Don't get to the point where you need to murder me because of it. You know, like that's where it becomes a problem. But I don't mind you thinking you're my friend and telling people my friend Nikki said this, my friend Nikki said that. Like, I don't think there's anything weird about that. And sometimes I have fans saying, I talk about you like you're like, I heard Nikki say this today, and my boyfriend's like, Nikki the Glaser, who you don't know, you're just calling her Nikki, like you talked to her today, and I always go, that's fine. I've been listening to Las Culturistas, which is on the Big Money Players Network with us, and I am starting to have that with Bowen and Matt Rogers. I can't stop listening to them. I feel like it has made me funnier and more wise about pop culture. I've learned new words. I just think, but I also feel like I'm hanging out with them. It really gives me the sense that I'm hanging with people.
Podcasts
so I get
do
it.
that a lot. Like it's
They
just like
do.
an intimate. It's in your ear while you're at Starbucks, and it's like an hour conversation. And if you listen to people long enough, you're just like they become part of your the network in your social brain.
Especially if you're a person in conversation who doesn't already talk that much. Like say you're someone who hangs out with your friends and you're not the most chatty of the group. Like it might resemble what it is like to be with a group of friends anyway for you.
Yeah.
Of just kind of
Totally.
observing and
Yeah.
maybe nodding along. Cause I'm like,
Well, that's the most comforting
Always
place to
nodding.
be. I mean, remember when you're at like a sleepover or something and you're like the first one to go into the sleeping bag and you still hear your friends chatting? Is there any...
about how they're going to draw on your face.
Okay, so imagine you're in your room at
your hand
night
in
at
some
your,
hot
and you
water.
hear your parents in the kitchen talking.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
I
About
have
how they're
oh,
going to draw a dick on your face when you're
I
sleeping.
have a new thing. I was watching Taylor Tomlinson's special, and she does this thing where she asks the audience if they have any. She has trouble sleeping, and she says, "If you have any like weird sleep tips, share them with me. I've heard them all." And she goes in the audience, and it's really funny. And she hears a one that she says helped her is like this woman said, "Go lay on your kitchen floor for 10 minutes, just wide awake, and then go back to bed." And she goes, "That actually worked." So Taylor said that worked, but
That's interesting.
I would have, if I was at her show, I would have raised my hand because I came up with one. So if anyone out there struggles to sleep, this is one that I have been doing since I was a young girl, but I didn't put it together that it actually works until recently when I couldn't sleep. You go from being like, I can't sleep to tell yourself you have to stay awake. You don't get to go to sleep. You must stay awake. Like you cannot fall asleep.
Interesting.
And when you start, instead of fighting staying awake to go to sleep, you stop fighting, you start fighting sleeping, man, that sucker will win over. Like do the opposite. Go like, you can't fall asleep. Don't you dare fall asleep. You don't get to. And then suddenly you want to so bad, and then let go and lean into it. And I promise you it works, because my sister and I used to take turns looking for monsters. One of us would have to stay up and keep lookout for
watch.
monsters.
Well, isn't that the cutest thing?
Yeah, in college, we were both
What?
a little emotionally underdeveloped, but yeah, it was so cute. So whenever I was on monster lookout duty, I would feel so much more tired than when I wasn't. And I remember realizing that, like, why when I have to stay up to look for monsters, do I just suddenly, almost immediately, I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. And so I've started using that
Yeah.
kind of same thing.
That's
to
interesting.
keep
I'm
me
going to
awake
try
now,
doing
or
that.
to keep me- just try it.
Because I think what it would do for me is the reason why I can't fall asleep is because I'm thinking about something else, and I'm stressing about something else that I need to
Oh.
do the next morning. Or sometimes it's like I ate a meal too late. But if I'm thinking
Yeah.
about something and then I start thinking I have to stay awake, then I'll be thinking about that instead of the thing that's actually keeping me awake.
Yeah, I've been
And you're actually
listening to
thinking about
this-
sleeping.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I was listening to this meditation of this guy named Dr. Russ. He's a chiropractor out of Portland, and I watch all his videos. He's the most relaxing ASMR voice ever, but he does like chiropractic videos, but then he does like meditations, and he did one about sleeping, and he was talking about how people, when they can't sleep, he does like a talk with you about how you can't sleep, and it's so soothing. And I literally haven't, it's like 15 minutes long, and I never finish it because his name is Dr. Russ out of Seattle. Just type in sleeping, Dr. Russ. And he was saying that people feel like they can't sleep because they have to they need to solve whatever it is they're worried about, which is impossible to do. Like you're not going to solve it. But I don't relate to that. I've never felt like there's
So what's
something
keeping you up? Like what's happening in your mind
usually
when you're up?
just my caffeine. Like I'm just not tired. You know, like
Yeah.
if I'm tired though, I don't think anything can keep me up because I almost feel like sleep helps me. Like I'm not going to solve something when I'm tired.
Right.
I just know that my brain is not
Exactly.
functioning right, and I'm just like, it's almost like I'm drunk. There's no part of me that even wants to solve it when I'm feeling tired because I won't.
You've acknowledged that sleep is a necessary step in order to get you to the solution.
Yeah, and maybe I'm procrastinating a little bit. I'm like, oh, maybe if I sleep, I can do it after I sleep. Like there's that. But I'm glad I don't relate to that. But I think a lot of people do. They are trying to solve things in their sleep. Do you guys both do that?
Yeah, I mean, that's happened to me. I used to have like a period in time where I'd wake up at 3 a.m. like every night, wake up at 3 a.m. and just start thinking about like the stresses of the next day. And my therapist, I mean, she kind of told me what Dr. Rust said. She goes, at 3 a.m., you cannot solve your problems. No one is up to help you. You can't send that email. You can't communicate. So just go back to sleep.
Yeah,
so I had to start saying that to myself.
There's
And it
nothing
helped
you
a
can
little.
do. Like when my dad told me there's nothing like when I was scared of nuclear war in 8th grade. And he was like, Nikki, there's nothing you can do about whether or not we die in a nuclear explosion. Nothing. And that was like, bring it on. There
you go.
Just
That
feels
would be
so
the
good to
opposite
feel
for me.
powerless.
When I feel powerless, I start screaming. So
Literally screaming.
yeah, like that's how I feel in the shower. But I want to show you something I got that I sometimes use when I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is this did I show this to you already?
No, but I've seen that kind of so it's a pillow, guys,
Well,
that has
there's a
these like
pillow
little
and there's
round
a mat.
spiky things on it. So what is it called? Acupressure?
It's an acupressure mat. This particular
looks like a
brand
Lady
is called a
Gaga dress.
Shakti mat. Yeah, well, that's
Shakti.
yeah. This is actually they made it out of Lady Gaga dresses. There's only a
Yeah, it
few
looks
in the
like a
world.
skirt I'd wear to Eras tour. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's really painful, and you lay on it, and the pain just kind of distracts you from whatever it is that you're thinking
Oh
of.
my God.
And you go, this hurts so
This
bad.
is why people get tattoos.
But then eventually the pain subsides, and you sort of enter into this like drifting state of nirvana.
Interesting.
It's like your body just accepts the pain and then sends all these endorphins to the area.
Well, wait,
And then
so
you're just
you
kinda
really
like,
get like
oh.
tripped out because the pain kind of disappears and you become
get
like,
relaxed,
like a
you
cloud
get-
of pain?
Yeah, in a way. I wouldn't say tripped out like you're taking shrooms or something, but you do enter this like state of this good vibrational state of calm.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It takes a while, though.
tell you guys what I did last week.
Oh, no.
I don't even know if we have time for it. It's so fucked up. I'm going to get into it after break. I haven't
Yes.
told anyone about it.
Oh,
Literally,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
you won't even believe what happened. Okay, we'll
Oh
talk
my
about it when we get back. Okay, I have not told anyone about this except Chris, and Chris like didn't even really care to hear details about it, and I don't know why, because I think he was just ashamed that I even did something like this. But I've been having, I suffer with like vocal tension. I just have too much tension in my body that I literally just can't get rid of, and especially in my throat and my neck. And I was like, maybe I'll go to a hypnotist. So I Googled hypnotist, right? St. Louis.
Oh,
Found someone who has been doing it for almost 30 years. Looked like someone like, that experience. I just went off of experience. Chris was like, how did you find this person? I'm just like, I don't know. She just said she'd been doing it the longest. And I just picked willy-nilly. I don't know how to pick a good hypnotist. It's all fucking whatever. So, and I've heard people like hypnotize themselves to, release, to stop smoking or to, I don't know. It's helped people. I know it
all
has.
sorts of things.
Yeah, and I saw a girl get hypnotized at our like post prom party, and she peed her pants because she thought her chair was on fire. And I know that it's real because she would never have done that.
Yeah.
That's so embarrassing to
Or they'll
do.
make
She
you
literally
start
thought
giving a lap dance to your ex or something.
exactly.
Like that. Yeah.
Like people, and like I understand when they do dumb things that are like kind of cool looking, like a girl is doing a striptease because she's always wanted to,
Yeah.
But pissing your pants in front of your senior class
Yeah,
when you're
that
not the most
wasn't-
popular girl that could maybe get away with that. I don't know what kind of girl could. That's when I knew hypnotism was real. So I never tried it because I never really wanted it, but I just felt kind of desperate. So I called this woman and I go in and I tell her about my stuff, and she's kooky. I was outside of her office for 15 minutes before she picked up her phone because I'm banging on the door and I'm like, "Ugh, she's not even here. She had just told me to reconfirm." And so I'm there. I drove 40 minutes to get to where she was. Finally, she lets me in. There's not really an apology. She's just like, "Oh, I didn't check my phone." And I'm like, "Okay, but it's 2:00. I was supposed to be here at 2. I am here at 2. Now it's 2:20 and now you're letting me in." So we go up. I was just about to drive off too. I wish I would have. We go up. We sit down in her office. She keeps apologizing that nothing is where it's supposed to be because she just moved in.
Oh my god.
Not my problem.
She's a wreck.
She's to
Totally. She keeps checking her phone, putting it back in her purse. Her purse is full
Now
with
she's
things.
checking her phone all of a sudden?
Yeah, I know. Her flip phone. Her purse is filled to the brim with things. She's kind of like a slight bag lady, a little hoardy, you know, but I don't judge it because like people that aren't, I don't need her to be perfect to be.
She's a fucking hypnotist.
Right. She's supposed to be out there and kooky.
She's a mess.
She has like a white beret.
Okay.
She has long white hair down to her shoulders.
Well, that's good. That's a good sign.
She is probably 75. Sorry if you're listening to this. I don't think she is. And she's not that. All like white outfit. Really, really nice woman. What I loved about her is that when I was talking about what I was going through, she kept saying, I'm really sorry you're going through that. And I thought that was a really nice thing. She was like, that must be really hard. I'm so sorry. I was talking to her about imposter syndrome. I was talking to her about my throat issues. And she was like, I really want to get back to this imposter syndrome thing. Like why you think you don't deserve things or whatever. Final thought. So she goes, honestly, I think before we do your throat stuff, which is why I went to her, like I want to release tension to sing better.
Yeah.
She was like, I really think you have some past life stuff that we have to address about this imposter syndrome. And I'm just like, okay, sure, let's do that. She wants to get paid first. I go, that's fine. $250. She goes, cash would be best. I go, I have cash, but I have 300. I'll just put 50 towards the next session because I'm thinking this is going to work.
Yeah.
I'm not going back. She's keeping that 50, by the way. So she's like, let's get into past life work. I just want to tell everyone ahead of time, if anyone wants to do past life stuff with you, run. I've done it before. I talked about it on the podcast years ago when I did it because a friend of mine recommended this woman. If you want to just sit for an hour with someone, closing your eyes and making up a story for them to help you make up, then do that. If you enjoy tucking your kids in at night and making up a story when they go, tell a story, and you just enjoy speaking off the dome, coming up with characters and settings and a plot line, then this is for you, because this is what it was. It was me staring at a literal wheel that turned, like a black and white wheel.
Oh God.
That she put across the room, so it was really small. And I go, I think it needs to be closer. So then we moved a bunch of shit so it could be closer. I'm on a love seat. I'm 5'9", so I'm like balled up on this love seat, laying down. And she was like, my long couch wouldn't fit in the new office. I go, I don't care. So then we're going in my past life, and she's like, okay, you're walking down a hall. She goes, your eyes are getting heavy, and my head is going like, no, they're not. Your eyes are watering. No, they're not. But then they start to, because I just want to make it right? Like I just want to give her what she's telling me. Your eyes are closing. And I literally felt like if I don't close my eyes, then what is this going to be? Like I need to close my eyes. I need to give her what she wants. And I'm someone that's not like, I pride myself on not just doing what people want me to do, but I just wanted to get the fuck out of there. And I go, maybe part of being hypnotized is kind of, controlling it a little bit. Like, yeah, closing your eyes because she said to close them. But I don't know. So I, at first was like, I'm not going to close my eyes just because she says close your eyes and your eyes are getting heavy. They're not. And so I kept them open. But then she kept saying they're getting heavy because she was getting frustrated. And then finally I'm like, they're closed. Then I'm walking down a hallway. Then she's like, there's a bunch of doors. Suddenly a door is going to look familiar to you. I think I might have the thing that Hala has where you can't picture things, because I could not see a hallway. I couldn't see doors. Nothing. She made it sound like I should be like in this virtual reality world that would be so clear to me what the floor looked like, what the doors looked like. You're going to see a door that looks familiar. Walk into it. Then that is a past life. So I walk in this door, and then she's like, and what's in the room? I'm like, I can't see anything. Well, what if you could see something, what would it be? I'm like, a bird cage. I mean, I'm just literally making shit up. And then she's like, you find a closet with clothes in it. What do the clothes look like? I'm like, there's no clothes. I don't see a closet. Well, keep looking. Oh, I found the closet. Like, I'm just like getting raped into, mini-raped into making things appear. So finally, I'm in this dress. I'm on a plantation. I'm making up a story. I'm literally in Bridgerton. And then she goes, okay, and then we get bored there because so then I'm a woman in the 1800s walking around a house. I'm just making this up, literally, which she could, because I literally said that to her. I go, I think I'm just making things up to give you a story because none of this is appearing. I'm actually trying to think of something to tell you. And she goes, well, what's the difference between that and it appearing? And I go, well, that's a good point. I don't really know. So let's just go with it.
It's like an improv
But I
class.
think a lot of this, exactly. I think a lot of what I'm coming up with is stuff that I just saw this week on TV. I said that. I go, she goes,
Lacey Peterson.
eventually I end up in this office and she goes, what does the office look like? And I go, it looks exactly like the office of the man whose office is next to yours, who I walked into right before this session. And it's the same man sitting there. And she goes, well, maybe it is. Maybe it was another past life where you run into him. And I'm like, unlikely. So I made up an entire plot line for this girl who I used to be. Her name was Abigail. She grew up in an orphanage. She worked at the orphanage she grew up in. The woman kept wanting me. So because I want to be a singer, she kept wanting me to be a singer in a past life. And she kept being like, so when do you sing a little bit? And I go, nope, this girl does not sing.
Abigail is mute. She had
She
her.
goes, does she go out to like taverns or anything? And I go, it's the 1800s. I'm a single woman. I can't go anywhere for fun on my own. I just go walk along the river. And she goes, oh, that makes sense. And I go, I need a male companion to go anywhere. And I really truly felt that. I don't even know if I came up with that logically. I literally was like, bitch, why do you keep asking me to go places when I don't have a husband, so I can't fucking go anywhere?
Well,
I
that's
work in an
interesting.
orphanage. And she goes, that actually would be true. She goes, do you have any friends? And I go, no. And she goes, how's this girl's life going to end? I'm like, she wants to throw herself from a fucking bridge. And she goes, okay, well, does she? And I go, I don't think she does. She just thinks about it. And then I made this girl find a friend. And I'm like, oh my God, this is actually turning into like an Elaine Ferrante book or whatever that My Brilliant Friend book. This is turning into a book. So this girl then meets a friend by the lake. That girl comes from a privileged life, but they have to keep their friendship secret because she's not allowed to like have friends that are dirty.
Yep.
And like poor. And then they kind of are gay for each other, but they can't ever admit it because she's married. And my character like hates the patriarchy, even though she doesn't have a word for it. She like hates men and hates her status. And she's like, I came up with this whole story and then she just dies in her sleep. Like my character, she wanted this woman to be, I think she wanted me to be like Judy Garland in a past life or something. Cause she kept like trying to steer it to that. I'm like, we're not even in that same fucking century, bitch. And don't even think it was over. So after that woman died, she makes me go to my next life.
After that.
And then I just threw in the cards. And in my next life, guess what I was? A whale. I just became a whale because I was like, I need something simple that will require a bunch of doors and like dresses and an occupation and friends and different floorboards that I have to describe what the floor looks like and the bedding looks like. Like it was Brian, you know how I get stressed out in improv games, like when we play Bag of Fun?
Yeah.
I don't like coming up with things. So for a whale, I was just a whale alone in the sea, and I didn't even have a pod. I was like, I'm a lone whale who got lost from his pod. That's how done I was. And then this session, which she told me was supposed to last 2.5 hours, which by the way, that's disgusting, and you should tell someone before they get to your office that something's gonna last that long. Like
Does that include the 20 minutes that you were waiting outside?
Exactly. I said, I got to be out of here by 4:45. I'm going to see a fucking house. And she was like, well, we might be in one of your lives. And I go, well, then we'll have to leave that life because I have one to get to here. She was just so like, well, we don't know where we'll be. And I'm like, well, I need to be out by 4:45. And so, but I was out by 3:25 because I was a whale and then I was nothing else. And she knew I was like, I'm out of this because I was just like, I'm just a whale. And then I go, I just started like opening my eyes and I'm like, that's really cool. That makes sense why I love whales. And that makes sense why I feel angry about being a woman sometimes. Like I was just
it
like,
is interesting that in both of your past lives you were alone.
Yeah.
You were a lone whale and a lone girl walking along the river.
But it did help me. I was like, I kind of want to write a book about this woman now that I invented. Like, I have never, ever written fiction because I just don't find it interesting. I don't watch fiction. I don't really read fiction that often. Like, I just don't care for fiction unless it's Taylor Swift writing folklore. I just don't care about made up things. But when I was forced to make this thing up, I'm like, oh my God, this person like exists somewhere. I like really feel like this Abigail girl is real. I don't think it was a real past life because it was made up of things I've seen on Netflix, but it was like, oh, I see how people can be like attached to a character. I've never felt that before. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't all for naught, but I wasted an hour and a half of my, I would say 2 hours with the driving of my life, making up a story for this woman And I paid $300 to do it. And it's so embarrassing. So I just want to tell anyone, whoever is involved in any past life stuff, it's bullshit. I really think it's bullshit. Do something else with your time. Do not get suckered into this. Like, it's happened to me twice now where I've had past life people make me make up stories on the fly, and they make you so uncomfortable because they make you feel like when you're resisting and saying this is not real, they make you feel like you're doing it wrong somehow. And like, you just can get so tricked by these people. And it cannot happen again to me. And I just want to ask any besties if you've had any stories of this where you go to like a healer or something and they take advantage of you. I've been like sexually assaulted by a healer before. I've been,
Oh my God.
yeah, they're not canceled yet. They're still working.
Oh.
I've been, and it wasn't a horrible sexual assault, but he like licked tears off my face. So it was kind of
No,
unpleasant.
that's like worse than anything.
It's disgusting. It's truly
God.
disgusting. And all my friends were in the next room and I talked about it afterwards and they were like laughing about it. Like, oh, that's just Tim or whatever. It was so weird. And he still works and he works with really famous people and he's disgusting. But,
Guys,
and he gave me the worst. He like
adjusted.
adjusted my neck and I was vomiting for hours the next day because of a migraine I had from that adjustment. So
Jesus
I want to
Christ.
know if anyone else has been hoodwinked by these people, which I do think this woman believes what she's saying and doing.
Sure.
I don't think she's a Tyler Henry, which is no, I do. Tyler Henry, I believe it's real, but I believe she feels the same way Tyler does. Like, I don't think she's aware that she's tricking people. And I don't think Tyler Henry's tricking people, by the way. But like, I think that I don't think she knows that she's full of shit.
Well, she's either got a mental disorder or she truly is no longer tethered to reality, which is why she can't be bothered to like organize her apartment or, do
Yeah,
things on
maybe.
time. Maybe she's in between worlds right now and she can see the past life.
Don't you just hate when you get taken advantage of and you can't, you're paying for something that you don't want and you can't leave? Does that happen
hate
to you
that.
guys ever?
I mean, the sphere.
No, not the fear. Like, do
The
you
sphere,
ever?
the
The sphere, he said.
Oh, the sphere.
Sitting there watching YouTube, being like, I can't leave. I don't want to
Yes!
disappoint Nikki and Chris. I just want to
Yes.
go.
I felt it too that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're so right. And Bono is on stage rambling like someone who is doing a past life meditation,
Yes.
I am a whale.
making things up.
I've had that in like massages or facials where
Yeah.
you're just kind of like stuck to the
Oh,
bed.
God.
Yes.
And they keep
Okay, that's
talking.
perfect example. No,
Perfect
yes.
example, Noah. Nailed
Noah,
it.
And you
Noah,
can't get
you
up.
nailed it. Massages, I think everyone can raise their hand right now. They've had a massage that sucks and you know it as soon as their clammy hand touches you.
Yeah.
But you have an hour, maybe sometimes 90 minutes to get through with this person.
And they
And,
talk constantly and you just don't want to hear anything.
Yeah.
Oh, God, when they talk.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, just pretend you're a whale and get the fuck out of there. That's my life advice.
Swim
All right,
away.
guys, we got to go. I'm in Michigan this weekend. Really exciting stuff coming up. Battle Creek, Michigan, Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday I'm going to see a Taylor Swift show, but not by Taylor Swift. I'm going to see a young boy I found on Instagram who's like
Oh, you're
8
doing
years
that.
old. Perform Taylor Swift in his backyard,
Wow.
2 hours outside of Michigan. So I'll tell you about that next week. But we have another show tomorrow we'll get to. We'll see you then. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Don't be care and bye.